Testing 1, 2, and we are live. How is everyone doing? I hope your Sunday is off to a good start if you're on the East Coast. If you're elsewhere in the world, I hope your Sunday afternoon is going well. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you happen to be in this fine world. Thanks for dropping by on my eighth live stream dedicated to talking about Atlas Earth. Okay, so I've been covering this for a little bit more than a year now, and as you can see, one of my kind of milestones that I hit this week was I went over $300 total rent accrued. So that's one thing. I haven't bought any parcels since the beginning of the month. I'm kind of I've been in this phase of trying to save up for next month's ladder challenges. I have a goal of getting I'm sitting at 1,000 parcels, and my goal for next month is to add an extra 100 and work my way through the the buy parcel challenges on the ladder as well. I don't quite have enough Atlas bucks at this point. I'm sitting at about 6,500 Atlas bucks. I needed 10,000 to accomplish that 100, but we'll see. I think everything's going pretty smoothly. I think that I haven't. It's been kind of a slow month for me. I've been working through a couple games on the arcade that have just taken. They're pretty fun games to play, but they take quite a while to hit those final few awards. So let's see who's in the chat. Annalise is here. Thanks for dropping by. Says, hope it's been a great day for you so far. Hope it is for you as well. Manning is in the house. Welcome, Manning. Appreciate dropping by. He's going to be checking out the chat and see what everybody's talking about. I was checking out Discord earlier, on and off. I used the morning before my live streams to kind of get some chores done, wash and stuff like that. And I was checking out Discord, and I'm like, oh, the Discord was lively. So I'm sure you know by now that the prize pools are in a state of flux due to the recent changes. So there's a big announcement by Manning on Discord, a day or two ago about that. Garnet Wilcox is here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Says good day and happy Sunday. Same back at you. Coit is here. Welcome back. Says they bought 100 plus parcels this week. Nice. I haven't bought any this week. Like I said, I'm basically in the preparation phase for next month, and I don't quite have enough Atlas bucks. I've got enough to start the process and get through the challenge ladder as far as the buy parcel challenges are considered. But my ultimate goal is hitting that 1,100 mark. I'm here in the States. That's going to represent the top of the 4% boost. And then I'm going to sit there. I'm also almost halfway through my 15% passport. So I still got 16 more badges to go to get to my 20% passport. So I haven't lately just stopped and worked on passport badges because all the badges I have around me that I don't have take like 30, 40, 50-minute drives just to get one badge. So I'm kind of just picking them up, and these badges I've been getting from the challenge ladder on a monthly basis have been really helping out, frankly. Okay, let's jump back into the chat. Manning says, yeah, thank you. Just here to listen with some of the changes. Just wanted to get a vibe check. Yeah. I like I said, I've been watching Discord earlier, so hopefully this isn't a complete fest. These things, I've talked about this on multiple videos I've done, right? You've got to expect, and Manning has announced this, that they're just going to adjust things, and they've got to make sense. The math has to work for the future of the game, right? So, and like I said in Discord, I mean, I'm not coming down on anybody, but I'm just saying this is a game. If you're not having fun, just don't play it. This is not, I've said this 100 times in my videos, this is not a get rich quick scheme or anything like that. This is just this is a game, and there's multiple ways where you can make money in it. But ultimately, if you're not having fun, just don't play. That might sound hardcore, but that's my feeling. So Lewis says the game payouts have changed. Also, pot started at 10K today. It started at 3K. Manny had put out an announcement about that and the reasoning behind it, frankly. I want to stop here a minute. I cover a lot of games, okay? There's a lot of games I've covered in the last few years, and some more than others. But in most cases, most development teams do not interface with the populace of the game as much as Manning does with us, okay? So a lot of games will just make a change. There won't be, you might be lucky to get these changes are inbound kind of notice with the patch notice, but they don't go on Discord. They don't have live Q&A events and talk about it, And once again, I have no connection with Atlas Earth. I don't work for them. I don't get paid for them. I'm just a guy with a gray beard that's playing the game and decided to cover it on YouTube, so. But I can see it logically from a business point of view. Plus, I work for a software company. So, Christopher Marino's in the house. Welcome, Chris. It says, good morning. End of the month soon means new challenges. Yep, I'm preparing for them. I'm hoping to complete my jump from 8 times to, or from 10 to 8. Nice. I'm, like I just said, I've been sitting mid-tier. I'm above my break-even point in the 4 times multiplier, tier, but, I'm going to work my way to the top of that next month and sit there. And the next tier is a huge jump. So I've got to decide what I'm going to do from there. Ultimately, since the ladder has come about since last November, I've tried to tier jump as fast as I can during the month while still allowing time in between the challenges to complete the buy parcel. So, I've been able to tier jump, but it's not always on the same day. And 4 or 5 days, I usually get those full 4 buy parcel challenges done. But at the same time, as you go up, those tiers get bigger and bigger and bigger. Ultimately, I'm just looking forward to the 2 times tier whenever I don't have to worry about it anymore. And, if you've looked at the tiers and you're from across the world, that should be your goal, because at the 2 times tier, right in there, either the first or second step inside the 2 times tier is where everybody is equal across the world. Okay, so Cerezy's here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by, Cerezy, a supporter of the channel, member. Coit says, at Lewis, yeah, they announced that in the Discord. Yep, RC Scoop is in the house. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Happy Sunday. Says, today I finally managed to be on time. Well, welcome, and thanks for dropping by, as I said. Lady Sharon is here. Always good to see Sharon. Says, good morning. So to expand on my comment on your other video, it's clear that I somehow replaced Swamp 2 with Swamp 3. I compared pictures, but I got it. It's just a visual glitch response. So the game actually let you put a legendary parcel upgrade on top of a other legendary parcel upgrade. It gave you the warning. I'm going to play both sides of the fence here. It gave you the warning and said, do you really want to do that? And you did that. So playing the devil's advocate here, it sounds like you're out in LPU, right? Unless they're nice to you on support. Sorry. Once again, sorry. So let me know what support says on that. We've been talking a little bit in chat underneath that video, but let me know how that goes. Retro Review says, hey, Bronze and everyone. Well, welcome, Retro. Glad to see you here. Eric Wang is here. Good morning to you. Hey, it's Sherry. Good afternoon. Thanks for dropping by. Coit says 65 is not bad. Alfie's here. Thanks for dropping by, Alfie. Lady Sharon says, help. It's clearly not as I should now have 10 legendaries. I'm totally bummed. I'd rather they had said, oh, yeah, you goofed. We can't fix it. Sorry, instead of giving me a clear template answer. Yeah, I can understand that. I don't know. I don't know what to say about the situation. Like I said, if you actually put an LPU on top of an LPU and it asks you, are you sure you want to do that? then that's mistake is on you. I think that obviously this is not what you want to hear, right? And I'm sorry about it, but if they wanted to be nice about it, they could refund the LPU to you and you could replace it. But you know, I'm not in support, and like I said, I'm not with the company, so it was an accident. Cerezi says, I'm on the final level of Merge In. Oh gosh, I'm so over Merge games. I've been grinding it since November. Should be getting a few hundred Atlas bucks once I complete it in the next day or two. Nice. It's always nice when you get down a game you've been grinding for months and you get down to that last one. The ones I pulled my phone off so I could look up the two games I've been grinding are called Castle Duels PvP and Rush Royale. Now they are made they are made with the same art assets, so I'm assuming that this is the Rush Royale Tower Defense and the Castle Duels. They're using the same art assets, so I'm assuming they're the same company. Two different styles games, but that's what I've been grinding lately. And the Castle Duels, I have about midway through, a little bit better than midway. But as you know, as you start going through the games, it takes more longer and longer time for each level. I'm trying to go back. I wish I could clear some of these games out that had already completed, and they gave me the awards because I put in a ticket, but I just can't clear them out and they're completed. So Rush Royale, I'm working on level 10, and it takes, you get an award every 2 or 3 levels, but each level takes a number of hours each, right, to cover. So that is what I'm presently working on. I haven't downloaded any new games in probably a month now, because I've been trying to clear out some of these older games I have downloaded, because even though I have a large storage on my phone, it's getting kind of full. Love a good cup of coffee. Okay, let's see here. Christopher says, any ideas when we will see new badges for twins and such? For the baseball? No, I have no idea. I know that they put out a video about it here last month sometime, and I think it's still in the idea. I don't really like that word, but ideation phase. They're still talking about it and trying to come up with that kind of idea where you're working with pro sports teams would take so much paperwork and jumping through hoops and red tape and stuff like that. So the quick answer is no. I haven't heard anything about it. I think somebody asked Manning about it on the last Q&A session that Annalise hosted, and Beer Money Engine recorded the second one and put it up on their channel, so go watch it. But it was just a short answer, and the answer was basically he didn't have any further information. So that's as much as I know. Sounds cool, but I can see anything dealing with professional sports teams is going to take a lot of paperwork and a lot of agreements being had, because I'm assuming that when you work with the pro sports teams, you have to work with each pro sports team individually. I don't know. Maybe you can work with just the league. I don't know. But if you had to work with each pro sports team, because they're owned by different people, right? That it would be a bear, to work through as far as paperwork, Okay, let's see. Garnet Wilcox says, this week I finally finished my challenge ladder. Nice. It is a bit challenging for me recently due to walking now with a cane and no longer having a vehicle. Oh, well, shout out to you. Keep completing. Even though you're walking with a cane, it's still good to get out and get some exercise. Yeah, I can see where that would be even more challenging as far as not having a vehicle. I think more, when I'm getting my badges, obviously it helps to be able to go out and travel. You have to travel to go get the badges. And it helps like when you're picking up diamonds for the spin wheel every day. I'll pick those up whenever I'm traveling with somebody else is driving, and then I'm in the passenger slot. So, Brandon's here. Brandtastic. Welcome, Brandon. Thanks for dropping by. And he's on the move to an RV camp. Nice. Going camping, having a little bit of a vacation. Cool. I haven't had a vacation in a while. I don't even know what I would do on a vacation, to tell you the truth. Hey, it's Sherry. Love saying that. I'm saving up some Atlas bucks to jump as far into the 4 times global tier as possible. Well, my advice there, Sherry, is to take your numbers, punch it into the Atlas Earth calculator, and see where your break-even point is, and try to at least get to your break-even point. Because that's still a logical number to shoot for. Obviously, we can't always do it. It just depends upon how much Atlas bucks, how the rate that you're earning Atlas bucks and how fast you can get it. Like I said, this month is going kind of slow for me. I was hoping, I had completed the challenge ladder after like the first week or so. And then I was saving up, and I was hoping to be at 10,000 Atlas bucks by the time May rolled around, so I could go ahead and make that jump to the top of the 4 times. But you're encountering exactly what I'm encountering, that when you hit that 4 times and then the 3 times and 2 times, the tiers just start getting bigger and bigger. But just look towards the 2 times, because once we make it to the 2 times, then we don't have to worry about it. So it's just kind of it's a different thought process. I'm thinking about the game differently as I'm progressing through the game. So. Jeff Sandrock's here. Welcome, Jeff. Thanks for dropping by. Says, I just started paying 49 bucks per month. I'm moving up fast. Great. Going great so far. Yeah, I mean, the Explorer Club provides a good ratio of Atlas bucks per dollar spent. To me, I've done a number of videos talking about, doing the different best value in putting money back into the game, basically. I find that the challenge ladder is a little bit better value as far as Atlas bucks and the other stuff you get for the money, but I think that a lot of people, I don't have any numbers, but I've seen when you look at people in Discord and such and Reddit and stuff, that a lot of people, especially after you've been playing for a while, decide to go with the Explorer Club. I haven't bought the Explorer Club. Not that it's a bad deal. Like I said, it's a better deal, much better deal than outright buying Atlas bucks by my math, right? But and it provides a constant monthly income to Atlas Reality, right? Which keeps the game going, right? Pays for the game, right? But I'm not quite at the $50 a month. And the way I started out approaching the game was, I hate the term free to play because everybody connotes it a little bit differently, right? But I want the game, if I'm going to put the money back in, it's going to be rent I earned in the game. And that's what I do, right? So at this point in time, I'm making about $1.08 a day on average. I've got 1,000 parcels. I'm in the 15% boost rate as far as the passport goes. So that gives you some kind of idea. So I'm making about 30 bucks a month, right? I put 10 of that back in for the challenge ladder, which has really helped me. Once I hit the $50 a month, then I will think about doing the Explorer Club and maybe doing a switch around. So I don't know. Once I hit that point, I'll do that. But I'm making pretty good progress. And at this point in my gameplay and progression, I figure if I can if I can get 80 to 100 parcels a month, it's a pretty good rate for myself. And everybody's going to be different, especially if you're in the States or if you're in a different country. Your rate is going to be different, but that's also why we have different tiers, different charts to play by, in other words. So, okay, let's see what else everybody's saying. Hunt Royal Guide is here. Welcome. Says, are you buying the $9.99 pass? Is it worth it? I was thinking about getting it, and I'm new and have around 25 parcels. Yeah, I just talked about that. Yeah, I've been subscribing since November, and I actually did a video on it. You know, just check out my channel, and there is a video maybe a few months ago where I compared the value that I saw. I did a little bit of math, and I'm not the best math person, so it's all just basic math, right? That the value I saw about like just buying Atlas Bucks outright, converting rent into Atlas Bucks, subscribing to the 2 different subscriptions, and what I saw. Long story short, I saw a very good value in subscribing to the monthly challenge ladder at $10 a month if you can complete greater than about 60 to 70% of it. If you look at the challenge ladder and you say, well, I can complete at least 60% of that on a monthly basis from, you know, your past play, it's well worth your challenge ladder, or well worth a subscription. And if you can complete it all and get that badge and get that LPU, that's just icing on the cake, right? So, but I just did the math from the extra Atlas Bucks you get and the value you get out of the subscription. Explorer Club's a good value too. Like I said, Explorer Club came in just, in my math, came in just below that. And it's a better value as far as versus just outright buying parcels, right? So, but check out that video. It goes into it a little bit deeper and shows the math I use. Sharon says, oh, and on the mini games, I'd rather get a +5 than a -25 because I spent 35. Odd number due to 3-point mulligan and 110. People forget they spent Atlas Bucks and aren't looking at. Well, mini games, there's no price to them anymore, okay? So they're free. They're still working on the math. As far as I know, the math has not changed for the United States, but the math did change for outside of the United States. And I'm not here going to talk about that because you guys know I'm not a big minigame player, so it hasn't affected me. I do know a lot of people were discussing it on Discord earlier. But it all falls under this. Listen, everything, and Manny's been very upfront about this, right? Everything, you know, they're expanding the game, making new things within the game, bringing it forward, and not everything's going to be perfect. Everything behind the scenes, they're going to have to kind of look at it from a company perspective. Are we making a profit on this? Is this logical? Is it going to keep going in the future? Can this help our company keep going in the future, right? Because it could be good for you as a player, but if the game fails in a year, then it's ultimately bad for you, right? So you might not like the fact that minigame payouts went down. But ultimately, now you're not paying any Atlas Bucks into it. Obviously, the people at the top who are great at minigames are going to be not liking this, right? But people midway up the minigames and lower, I think this is a win-win for them because you're no longer paying Atlas Bucks into it. It's a free experience. They are as a company trying to recoup the money and at least break even, hopefully make a little bit of a profit, right? Because you're a company. That's the business of being a company, right? But the more players that play, the more ads that are watched, the more income that comes in. And if you have a smaller base of players in certain areas, you're going to have a smaller payout because there's just not as many ads being watched, right? And, behind the scenes, they've got math adjustments to do. We all know that. Don't be surprised. I mean, when he came out, every statement he's made on almost any change in the game has been, well, we could change it in the background if it's not going right, right? So Okay. I got on a soapbox there. I try to think of games as logically as I can, right? So Garnet says, Mayorship of my city has changed back and forth between myself and another player this week. Both he and I are about 60 plots above the third place player. Well, there's some places, I mean, you're just going to have to fight for it if you want it, right? The question is, I think ultimately in the big picture of things is, are you getting Atlas bucks off of badges? You said you are not traveling as much these days because you don't have a vehicle. So maybe that is just where you want to kind of cement your mayorship, right? Because you can't go out and about. I'm getting ready to have to take over my third mayorship, or planning my third mayorship in May, or start working. I've got 2 mayorships, but the 2 I have taken relatively high amounts of parcels to get. And I'm getting a little bit of stream of revenue and Atlas bucks from badges coming in off of them, and nothing surprising or over the top, right? But I'm planning my third, but my point is it's a little ways. The third one I'm going to get is about a 30 to 40 minute drive. Every time I want to buy parcels there, I have to drive over there. So especially with the challenge ladder, I'm thinking that I might try to burn through a bunch of challenges before I even do that first buy parcel. And hopefully when I do that drive, I can get maybe the first, what's happened in the last couple months is I've been able to do the first 2 tiers of buy parcel, and then I'll come home and then I'll have to do some more challenges and then burn through a bunch of other challenges, then go back over to buy parcels and get level 3 and level 4. So that's kind of been my plan, because you get into this situation and you end up having to do a bunch of driving around. So I'm trying to limit my trips over, and I still got to find a place. This last place I took over basically a cemetery, but I did that because they had a Veterans War Memorial in there and I wanted that. I'm a vet myself, so I got that, and I placed some LPUs on the Vets War Memorial. So that was my point in doing that. So sorry, I got a frog in my throat. Palmer Husky is here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. It's always good to see you. Working on one of those goblin games. I think they were going to be a short win, but it takes hours to get to next level. It's been a while since I found a game on the arcade that was an easy win. I would probably bring it up in an episode if I found it, but a lot of these games, I found that since the arcade started last year, I think the Atlas bucks have gone down. Obviously, it's probably due to some algorithm or some, how much the companies actually want to pay to get their games advertised and put into the Atlas Arcade, etc. And we know that's handled by a third-party company that handles those, that probably works with a bunch of these other kind of platforms where you make money off of playing video games and stuff. And it all comes down to advertising dollars. I always talk about that. It's all logical. It all comes down to math formulas and how much the company wants to spend. Obviously, they want to capture you as a user or as a player for as long as possible. So they're going to string it out, the payments out, and kind of string you along. So you're playing their game for a number of months, right? That's just marketing logic, right? So. Retro Review says, I heard racing is only an hour. Yep, that's what he said. Is that just for today, or is that how it will be going forward? I think he said that was just for today. They were having a problem with the mini games last week, and the way I'm thinking about it is they're still working on it. And what the statement was, they couldn't promise. I don't know what you want to say. They couldn't promise that the games would stay up and perform exactly as needed. So I guess they shortened it to an hour just to test, or I don't know. But what I took from that statement was they're still working on it, and it's just shortened for this week. So anything past that, I guess either Annalise or Manning would have to say. Christopher says, I have 5,000 Atlas bucks, need like another 2,000 to hit my break-even point with the challenges. I should be close. Keep plugging away. You know, do a few surveys, play a few games. You know how it goes. Use the AMP program. We might get salads this evening, so I think my family is about saladed out by this point, though, too. Kathy Tusky's in the house. Welcome, Kathy. Thanks for dropping by. Says, hello. I'm just saving up for the May challenge ladder. Same here. Playing my games to be within reach of the next goal. Scouting out where I can go to get new badges. Yep. Sounds like what I'm doing. Although I'm kind of just... My badge play has just been kind of just gradually when I can get them. And, you know, I think the last few months I've been doing one buy badge challenge. It doesn't get a whole lot of points. And then for each badge I've been trying to find around here, I'm kind of drying up on badges. I end up like I said, I end up having to drive 40 minutes just to get a badge. So I've been kind of just taking them, you know, if I happen to be in an area and I find that I don't have that badge, I'll just buy it up. That kind of situation versus earlier in the challenge or earlier in the whole process of playing the game. You know, like I hit 150, I completely shut down buying parcels, and then I bought that first tier of badges. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just kind of soaking them up when I can get them. Lady Sharon says, I never got a warning. Oh, really? I want there to be a warning. It just gave me the general upgrade. It didn't say the type of land I was replacing. Well, what I was talking about was that warning. You get a warning right when you're placing an LPU. And that's the fail, you know, that's the fail safe right there. That's like there used to be not a warning whenever you went to buy. There was something that they changed. They added a warning to. That's, you know, that's the thing. It's like, are you sure you want to place that there? You know, I'm just saying, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here. Cerezi says, yeah, I need a pretty big break. I need a big break from merge games. Yeah, there's one I'm trying to work through. I forget the name of it, but it's got like a lot of makeup and stuff like that. And it was relatively easy to get into the first few levels, but it just takes a lot of time to work through those, and it's kind of grating. I'm at the point now with the arcade games that if they're not relatively fun to me, I'm just not going to push myself. I like to work through games that are relatively fun, and they do pop up from time to time, but there's a whole slew of games that are just kind of replica games, you know what I mean? Alfie says, how do you know when you are at the tier break? Well, Alfie, what you would do is you would go over here to the Atlas Reality support website, or you just look up Atlas Earth and you can click on the support website, and then you can click under, let's go back here for a minute, click under why do ad boosts change and how do I see my current boost. Click on that, and as you scroll down, you can see each of your tier charts depending upon where you live. Whether you live in the U.S., whether you live in the U.K. or Canada, or Australia or New Zealand, whether you live in Mexico, whether you live in Spain, France, Netherlands, Germany, and Japan or South Korea, or Brazil. I almost left Brazil out. Everybody is broken down a little bit differently, and what you're going to look at is this left tier, or this left column right here. So in the US, the top of the first tier is 150, okay? And the reason why we talk about this is that if you have 150 or less parcels in the United States, you get a 30 times boost when you boost actively with, you know, watching your ads. But as soon as you buy one parcel over that, you are reduced to 20 times. So that is what we talk about. You know, I talk about this a lot in not that it's bad to break, but there's a lot of people that are surprised when they lose their boost or multiplier. It's just the way I go about doing my videos is being very intentional about planning how you're going to do that. Save up to at least get to your break-even point. And by that, I mean, so between 151 and 220, there will be a portion there somewhere around maybe 200, 205, 210, somewhere in there, where you're making just as much money as you were sitting at 150, right? That's the break-even point. And for everybody, it's going to be a little bit different. But and then after that, as you're approaching that 220, it's just your rent is going up and you're earning more. So it's just about playing and being very intentional about trying to not be in that portion below that break-even point where you're feasibly losing money that you could be making. So that's why people save up large amounts of Atlas bucks and jump, do a complete jump, or at least jump to the break-even point. Okay, hope that answered your question. And once again, that can be found over on the Atlas Earth, and then you just go to the support tab at the top. There's lots of stuff under the support. Most everything you could ask about this game could be probably answered under that support tab. You can also put in tickets if you're having an issue with the game under that tab, as well as in-game. Coit says Sunday for the Americans is 3 hours. Been that way for a bit. Oh, really? Well, they said that the game today is only 1 hour. Unless I'm missing something. I'm scrolling over to Manning's announcement. So this was in Discord earlier. Or yesterday afternoon. Yeah. I remember him saying somewhere. Okay, jumping back into chat. Matthew Babiak's here. Sorry if I said that wrong. Why isn't Atlas Earth passive income? That's a good question. Whoops. I stopped referring to Atlas Earth as passive income because if you're playing the game, it's very active. In other words, to actively earn off the game, you have to do a number of things, okay? You have to continually boost, watch ads, okay? Which you necessarily don't have to really watch the ads, but you have to continue to click on it, you know? You have to play games. You have to continually interact with all the different subsystems within the game. Otherwise, you become a person that comes to the Reddit and says, this game is terrible because I've played for a year and a half, I've only made $7. Or something like that. Why? Because you're not interacting with the game and actually playing it. So it doesn't really meet the qualifications of being passive income to me. You know, could you get to a certain point, lay back and just do your boosts and watch ads? Yeah, you could. But could you? Passive income would be like doing nothing, right? You're just passively allowing the game to go by, and if you did that, you would eventually, you wouldn't be earning much of anything, right? So that's the reason I don't call it passive income. Eric Wang says, I put my LPU on top of one of the rare plots by accident, thinking it was a common plot next to the other LPU, so I get being bummed about that at Sharon. Matthew says, I've spent a lot of time and money on building properties. Ashley Stanfield is here. Welcome, Ashley. Thanks for dropping by. I'm trying to clear out the games I have as well. Yeah, I know what you mean. Trying to do that as well. And like I said, I think it comes down to, unless I see a game that has like this really nice payout structure, I'm just going to stick to games that I kind of relatively like to play. And with everybody, that's going to be different. Some people might love the merge games. More power to you. You know, I like puzzle type games. And I like there's other what I would consider more top tier type games. You know, those are far and few in between, but I grab them when I can. And I usually try to grab a new game when they have an event going, pays a little bit extra. Retro Review says, I haven't had any new arcade games to download for a month. I don't often check those. Like I said, I've been trying to work through some old ones. Let's look at, oh, I got a boost to do. Go ahead and do that. Or a 20-minute ad, rather. We'll check that out. But yeah, I think it's relatively similar. The amount of games you get is kind of similar to the amount of surveys. If you pummel the system and download, you're just going to eventually run out of games or surveys to do. So I don't know exactly how it works. Obviously, it's going to be differently on a month-to-month basis. Different games pay to be advertised for different amounts of months. You know, that just kind of seems logical to me. And then they mix them up and present them to you. Let's see here. I'm going into... So this is what I have available currently. I've seen a lot of casino games lately. Macarena I haven't done yet. It's always like continually on there. They've advertised for a long time. Gardenscapes is always on there. I haven't done that. There's another one of those sorting games. Toon Blast, Wasteland Life. Another coloring game. So, you know, I've got stuff to pick from. Nothing that really grabs my attention, though. So, but I think it's a good point that if you see a game that you know you're going to like to play, go ahead and grab it. Because sometimes these can cycle out and you just won't have them to grab, you know, if and when you're ready for a new game, so to speak. But I was happy to hit that $300 rent mark this past week. Lady Sharon says, not as bad, but yeah, I'd like an extra warning when it's not a common. Like, warning, you are placing a rare, epic, legendary. Are you super sure we have a warning like that at work? Well, once again, looking at it from a company perspective, you know, if you upgrade something that's not a common, the company benefits because, you know, we're just talking very fractions of a penny, right? But the company still benefits, you know, so... Brandtastic says, from Ohio to Indiana and collecting diamonds. Nice. I grew up in the middle of Indiana. Just south of Indianapolis. Hey, it's Sherry. Says, I think my next break-even point is about 6,000 Atlas bucks. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Banuka. Hopefully I said that right. Thanks for dropping by. Says, hey, is it worth buying land using real money? Well, you know, everybody has a different view on that. I will say this, that if you buy Atlas bucks outright, they have a long return on investment. I always play this as a game first, okay? Now, if you go in and you say you spend 50 or 100 bucks, it's going to take you quite several years to pay that back, okay? Just being upfront. Is that good or is that bad? Well, it's just math, right? So just take that into account. I've been playing this as a game, and I have not bought Atlas bucks outright to turn around and buy parcels, right? So everything I've bought into in the game, meaning the subscription for the monthly challenge ladder, as well as the rent conversions on a monthly basis, basically just to play through the challenge ladder, has been just out of rent I've earned in the game. So, and everybody's probably heard me, but I take the rent that I earn in the game and put it into, I take it out and put it into PayPal savings. So I'm earning 4%. And then I take $10 out of that on a monthly basis and transfer into my regular bank account to indicate my payment for the challenge ladder. So it kind of keeps my PayPal balance as it's kind of a true indicator of what profit I've made off the game, you know, minus what I've put back into the game. So, you know, I'm up around, even though I've earned like $306 in rent, I guess I haven't checked it this week, but it's around $200 or something like that as far as profit, if you will. Sherry says, "Yeah, I'm trying to speed run to the 2 times tier. Yeah, I'm just trying to be methodical. You know, I'm not trying to encourage anybody. I'm encouraging everybody to find what works for you, right? And just be methodical about it." Brandon says, "Cellular data is going to get bad, so I might have to leave. I apologize for that." Well, have a good week. You know, if they're going on a vacation, enjoy your vacation. Get yourself some badges. Coins and More is here. Welcome. Says you also get 7-hour boosts, 7 wheel spans daily on top. Oh, as far as the Explorer Club, I thought that was 8. Brandon says, okay. Beer Money Engine is here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. I know I'm a little bit behind in chat. Just time to talk. Talk it up. Coins and More says $10. Yes, it's worth it. And now games are free. More people will want that ladder. Yep, I agree. Coit says I pay the full $549.99. That way I don't have to worry about paying per month. Yeah, that's one thing I haven't bid off on yet is the monthly subscription or the yearly subscriptions. Yeah, you can save a little bit on doing the yearly subscriptions. I just haven't done it yet. Luca is here. Hey. Coins More says there are some hardcore players on the game that have spent 2 hours for 1 or 2 land. Yeah. Manning says, you nailed it. One of the descriptions I was talking about. As far, you know, I just try to look at everything from a business perspective, even though I'm not in the business. Coins More says free to play. Will want it on games. More seems to me. Beer Money Engine says enjoying 2 slices of my stuffed crust pizza from Domino's. Oh, you're going to get me hungry now. Need to get myself some lunch. I think I just got leftovers in there. Lawrence Kibler's in the house. Welcome, Lawrence. Thanks for dropping by. I hate the mini games. That's pretty strong. I played just for the monthly challenge. I'm right there with you. Lost more Atlas bucks than I gained in the process. I played them more this week now that it's free. Well, that's good input. And, you know, I think that's what they were shooting for, right? They're shooting for a higher percentage of people to actually play. And you know, attract more players, right? For the ad revenue to try to support the new way of doing things, right? Yeah, I don't play the mini games very much. I don't say I hate them, but I'm not good at them, so I don't do them. I do other things, right? So, but the way they've changed it just seems logical to me. So, Retro Review says Bronze pulls his hair out with the mini games. Yeah. I play them to work my way through the various challenges that I do need on the challenge ladder when I'm doing it. Once that happens, once I complete the challenge ladder for the month, then I don't play the games. Nothing against them. I might play the new ones when they come out. We got Rock, Paper, Scissors coming up, and I'm really looking forward to the trivia whenever that comes out. Because my brain is full of all kinds of trivial information. Beer Money, Andy is here. Welcome, Andy. Thanks for dropping by. Happy Sunday. Beer Money Engine says, I need to go put down 4 parcels before mini games. Give me a number 1 to 4. Manning said 3. East it is. My Financial Journey's here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Says, I've been getting some sweet arcade games lately. Nice. They get a bit grindy, but earning lots of Atlas bucks the last few weeks. Yeah, you just got to stick in there. And, you know, a lot of us play minigame or play arcade games anyway on, you know, you have a few minutes to burn. You're waiting for somebody, you know, that kind of thing, you know. Might as well earn Atlas bucks while you're doing it. Luca's here. Welcome. Says, I'm playing since 20 days and I paid 2.5K pounds or euros? Euros. Sorry, that symbol's kind of small. I didn't see it for Atlas bucks. Well, it got you started well. It'll take you a while to pay those off, but, you know, no harm, no foul. You know, we all put money into games, you know. I think a lot of people look too hard at that because a lot of these games we play, any other games you play, there's a certain cost to them. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, the company spends time and money to produce this game. Obviously, with this type of game, you're trying to earn money, but you know, there's nothing against putting a little bit of money back into it. Just like I said, be methodical and know that it's going to take a while to pay off. Retro Reviews says, thanks for your service, Bronze. Well, you're quite welcome. It's been a while since I've been in, but I'm very proud of my service. Did my years during the original Gulf War was when I was in. Basil, Atlas Earth Brazil is here. Welcome. Welcome, Brazil, and welcome, Basil. Thanks for dropping by. My Financial Journey says, I have one game alone that has paid me 2,000 Atlas bucks already. Nice. Most of the games I've got lately have a max of maybe 150, and it's just kind of, you know, incremental. It seems like the games I like playing only give like 2, 4, 6, something like that. But I'm like, screw it, I like playing the game, so I'm just earning a few here and a few there. That's nice that you're getting a nice payout, though. Manning says, arcade is very targeted based on how much at the device level they think they will monetize. So the payouts there reflect their financial model for your device. Yeah, and that goes back to we've talked about before, you know, the what is offered on iOS and what is offered on Android are different. It's different where you're at because the marketing is different in, you know, United States versus different other areas. So there's tons of different variables in it. I just tend to just grab the games that I think I will enjoy playing and not pull my hair out doing. Beer Money Engine says, make sure you click that subscribe and the notification bell. Let's get Bronze Dragon to 5,000. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? You know, what also just came to mind was the new feature that I had pulled out of the Terms of Service this week, which was the new tipping feature. So we'll see how that works out. Would be pretty cool. And yeah, please like the live stream and the videos you watch, and leave comments and subscribe if you're not. It's all appreciated. It helps me out. Manning says, yes, we are just being cautious given the Unity issue this past Thursday on matchmaking. It's a Sunday, and we weren't wanting to have to disrupt our team with a crisis when minigames are longer. Yeah, so that's the statement referring back to is, are the minigames just going to be an hour here on Sunday? And that's what he just answered. Just out of caution. Rhonda's here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Stocking up on my Atlas bucks in the UK, and I have a mini business trip to pick up some badges. Found that hopping on the train, I can collect quite a few diamonds. Yeah, I've talked about that before. The best time that I can, like once or twice a week, whenever like my wife needs to go somewhere and it's, you know, a 20-minute drive, maybe something like, I just jump in the passenger side and I'll go and I'll collect diamonds, and that'll give me my diamonds for the week, right? Now, if you have a little bit longer of a trip, like you were talking about, Rhonda, you know, like if I had to go downtown and go to like the airport, which is like a 45-minute drive for me, and somebody's going to drive me, man, I'll get like 75 diamonds one way. Just riding and picking up diamonds gives me plenty of diamonds, you know. So I encourage everybody, don't try to pick up diamonds when you are driving. It's just an accident waiting to happen. I know, I sound like your dad or your old grandpa. That's fine. I want to see everybody come back to the next weekly live stream and not get in a car accident. Oh, and have a good trip, Rhonda. Beer Money Engine says I should start working on my word game, actually. Yeah, I was checking out your show yesterday. He did a live stream where he was streaming doing these word. I like the word games, but I can't do them as fast as you. Palmer Husky says if I do a merge game, I just try to get through as much as I can before the 90-day timer is up and then just move on and call it a win. Yeah, I mean, you also have to look at that. That's another variable that you have to look at when you download the game. Does it have a specific time frame or is it unlimited? You know, so some games you download and you've got a certain time frame you have to complete it in, and then I go through one of those, and if I haven't completed it, then I just delete the game, and it is what it is, right? But I tell when I get too many games going at once, it's like working a part-time job. Yeah. And Manning verified that in the United States, it's 1 hour today for the mini game. Retro View says, do most players still not worry about doing tier jumping? And he aimed at Manning. Coit said, yeah, he said it on the 25th. Beer Money Engine says, it's semi-passive once you've put in several months of effort. But it's a hell of a beer money app once you have made it. Yeah, I still have a really hard time saying that this game is passive. Now, I guess you could whittle down to what I would consider a passive income. I don't know where my phone went. You know what? My app, the app that was mirroring my phone cut out. Okay, we're almost done with the show anyway. So let's see what everybody's saying. Kind of do a wrap up here. Yeah, I have a hard time saying that it's passive. I spend so much time involved with, you know, even if I wasn't doing these videos for it, as far as trying to plan out my parcel buys to take over, you know, Mayorships, which is like the strategy part of it, plan on, you know, trying to earn more Atlas bucks through doing surveys and playing games and stuff. I just have a hard time saying it's passive. There's other things that I do that I consider passive income. You know, I do videos on Web3, and I'm not trying to force that you know, as a topic, but I have investments and I buy certain tokens. They're invested, they're staked, and they earn a certain percentage, and that fluctuates. That's passive income to me. I don't have to do anything. I had to buy it, had to stake it. It's like putting your money in a bank or putting your money in a bond or putting your money in a 401k. That's passive. Well, 401k and stock market, it can be extremely non-passive, depending upon how you do it, right? So, but you get my drift. Mary Van Dyke is here. Welcome, Mary. Says, I've been playing about 7 months now, so I'm a bit of a noob. Right now, I am hoarding my Atlas bucks as I'll be traveling out of town in a few more days. I'll be buying getting a new badge. Yeah, definitely when you travel and you're going to be in a different location than you normally are, I encourage people to buy badges, because it may not help you exactly right now, but down the road it will, because eventually you'll be in a situation like I'm at right now where I've got all the badges around my area. I have to travel at least 35 to 40 minutes in one direction just to go get a badge. So when you're outside of your normal area, it's best to pick up badges, in my way of thinking. And the badge boost in your passport, flat. It's on at all times. So My Financial Journey says Mech Arena is fun. Only game from arcade I still play. Oh, that's good to know. Interesting. Sherry says, I've been seeing tons of slots and casino games as well. Yeah, I agree. Manning replied to Retro Reviews, says 3 to 4% of players tier jump. That's an interesting stat. So most huge amount of players don't tier jump. But, I mean, that's good for the company, right? Retro Review says, thumbs up, I fall in the majority then. I just like buying parcels when I can. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, play how you want. Cerezy says, gotta head out. Have a good week. Have a good one, Cerezy. Robert S. is here. Welcome, Robert. Says, top prizes are way smaller in minigames since they are free now. Yeah, and they'll continue to adjust those, but they got to go by the numbers, what they're making. You know, they initially started higher outside the United States, and they're just modifying them lower because it's not sustainable, you know. So, and if you're looking for a better or a more expansive comment on that, go to Discord in the chat and search on different things Manning has said, because he's been talking about it, and in the general statement in the announcement section. Rhonda says, was pleasantly surprised with the surveys. I actually got 2 Atlas bucks, even though I was disqualified from the survey. Yeah, I like that since that started, and it especially is handy during the challenge ladder when you just need to do a survey and you don't necessarily care about a big payout from a survey. You just want to complete it. Then if the survey goes through and it hits, you get disqualified, but you get 1 or 2 Atlas bucks, it automatically counts for the challenge ladder. So. Gobengals, hopefully I said that right, says, with the mini games, when somebody loses, they should have to watch 2 ads, where if you win, you watch 1 ad. This would give a bit of an advantage to the people that are winning. Yeah, I don't know how that works out. I'm sure Manning could talk about that a little bit more in detail, but I'm sure you have to average it out, and there's a lot of play testing that goes on to try to be as beneficial to everybody. Well, we are at the top of the hour, and once again, thanks everybody for dropping by for the 8th Sunday episode of Livestream talking about Atlas Earth. I appreciate it, and I appreciate all the likes and subscribes on my videos. I try to put out at least 1 or maybe 2 a week on Atlas Earth, as well as some other games, so I appreciate it, thumbs up and subscriptions, like I said, and super chats and all those things. So thanks for dropping by. This has been Bronze Dragon. I hope everybody has a great week, and I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy, because if you're not healthy, you don't have anything. I will see you in Atlas Earth.